Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's kids are distancing themselves from the actor in multiple ways. None of his kids are rocking with him. Their 15-year-old daughter is the latest to drop Pitt from her name.
Zahara
that she recently dropped her father, Brad Pitt's, last name.
Jolie Pitt slammed his estranged father as a world-class a-hole, accusing him of being abusive.
We know that an incident occurred which led to your separation.
Most of all, I want to acknowledge the children who are terrified and suffering at this moment.
The story of Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's relationship is marked by both romance and complexity.
Jolie and Pitt crossed paths during the filming of Mr. and Mrs. Smith in 2005, during which he was still married to Jennifer Aniston. They maintained at the time that there was no cheating.
Did Angelina Jolie break up your marriage?
No.
You know, a married man. If there's some that I think is it just bothers me.
Everyone says she's a homewrecker.
It's a good story. I've been in these tabloids for 14 years.
At the very least, there was clearly emotional infidelity. Jennifer said to me, from the moment Brad started filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith, he was gone. He was just not there for her, emotionally absent in her view.
Angelina Jolie has publicly and emphatically denied that they were together while making the movie.
If you want to make me the bad guy, I'll be the bad guy. I know my truth. I respect my truth.
But before Brad and Angelina got together, Angelina adopted her son, Madox. She got him at 7 months old from Cambodia.
It was while she was still married to her second husband. Unfortunately, the actress and Billy Bob split 3 months following Madox's adoption. She raised Madox alone until 2006, when Pitt was appointed as his adoptive father. The couple had already made it official to the public in 2005, as Brad stepped up and chose to adopt Madox himself too.
He did assume a fatherly role, and when they went on to adopt their daughter, he was a part of that process. They actually have 6 children together.
Angelina was saying that you all, as a family, is the greatest thing you all have done for your lives.
Yeah, as I say, it's the greatest thing I've ever taken on. I can't imagine life without it.
TMZ reported that Angelina was fed up with Brad smoking weed and drinking excessively, and she felt his anger problem made him dangerous to be around.
They were flying home on a private jet from France to the United States, where Brad and Angelina got into a fight that involved the children.
Brad got physically aggressive with one of their kids. Brad and Angelina started arguing shortly after the plane took off, and Madox jumped up to verbally defend his mom.
Jolie approached Pitt and asked him what was wrong. Pitt accused her of being too deferential to the children and verbally attacked her. An hour and a half later, Pitt abruptly walked over to Jolie, demanding, "Come here," and directed her to the back of the plane. He pulled her into the bathroom and began yelling at her. Pitt grabbed Jolie by the head and shook her, and then grabbed her shoulders and shook her again before pushing her into the bathroom wall. As she exited, one of their children asked, "Are you okay, Mommy?" Pitt yelled back, "No, Mommy's not okay." One of the children verbally defended Jolie. Pitt lunged at his own child, and Jolie grabbed him from behind to stop him. The children rushed in and all bravely tried to protect each other. Before it was over, FBI launched an investigation. After interviewing various witnesses, the FBI agent who conducted the investigation concluded that the government had probable cause to charge Pitt with a federal crime for his conduct.
Authorities investigated Pitt for child abuse, but he was ultimately cleared. Even so, it's clear that the ill-fated plane ride caused an enormous rift between Madox and his father.
Poster Brad tells People magazine he was drunk. There was a parent-child argument which was not handled in the right way and escalated more than it should have.
Sources close to the couple claim that this incident led to Jolie filing for divorce.
You got challenges and you got some uphills to face. It's scary for a moment, and then you look at your options and you make the best decision and you carry on.
Our Brad source also says it's worth noting how much Pitt's life has changed since that 2016 incident. Quote, Brad has acknowledged his past drinking and taken responsibility. Heartfelt speech, he thanked Bradley Cooper.
I got sober because of this guy,
And every day has been happier ever since. I love you and I thank you.
I understand this is a very sensitive issue. We know that an incident occurred which led to your separation, but would you like to say something?
Only that I don't want to say very much about that, except to say it was a very difficult time.
Can I ask how you're coping?
Many people find themselves in this situation. My focus is my children, our children, and my focus is finding this way through. When somebody harms a child, it's a stranger, the way the law looks at it, it's quite strong. When it's somebody within a family, within a home, it is responded to less.
Angelina also pushed for funding for technology to detect bruises on children of color. Researchers have found in the first 24 hours, evidence of abuse is harder to detect on dark skin than light skin.
Part of this came from being a mom. My children have different skin tones. I've noticed over the years that so much of it is based on white skin. It's personal.
During the pandemic, all 6 children were living with Jolie at her house in Los Angeles, and Brad was seen visiting from time to time. Brad is reportedly seeking 50-50 custody of Shiloh and her 5 siblings. However, Angelina is apparently fighting it tooth and nail, and might even bring the kids into it.
Angie is claiming she has proof of alleged domestic violence against Brad, and the kids could testify.
Madox is their oldest child, and he's been the most outspoken against Brad.
In 2019, Madox moved to South Korea for college. He was asked if his father would come to visit him in Seoul. Madox said, "I don't know about that."
Is your relationship with him sort of over, or? Well, whatever happens, happens.
Madox was a little bit more tamed then, but recently he has called out Brad.
Pax Jolie Pitt slammed his estranged father as a world-class a-hole, accusing him of being abusive.
His social media message, and he went on to say, "You time and again prove yourself to be a terrible and despicable person. You have no consideration or empathy toward your 4 youngest children who tremble in fear when in your presence. You will never understand the damage you have done to my family because you're incapable of doing so." While Pax was the 3rd child that Jolie adopted, following his older siblings Madox and Zahara,
Madox is not the only one who stands against Brad Pitt, because actually their daughter decided to remove Pitt from her name as she joins a college sorority. Her name was Zahara Jolie Pitt, but now she's just Zahara Jolie.
Particularly their 17-year-old daughter, Shiloh Jolie Pitt, has been quite the jet-setter in recent months. Shiloh has been yearning for more quality time with her father. According to an inside source, it is Shiloh who has been most deeply affected by the ongoing divorce proceeding.
Their 15-year-old daughter is the latest to drop Pitt from her name.